Let's get everything underway first. No, this is not NHL 21. I do have the game, but I have not recorded any footage on it yet. I'm still trying to get used to everything that is brand new, and I need to update all the rosters. So we might do a stream for that later today as we do that live. This is NHL 20, one of the last pieces of gameplay I recorded for this game. Sayonara NHL 20, it was a great run. But NHL 21 on this YouTube channel is very, very close. So, because I did have this NHL 20 Ottawa gameplay lying around, I was just like, let's record a video about the Ottawa Senators, shall we? There certainly is a lot to talk about with this team, and based off of what they've done recently, there certainly is reason to be optimistic if you are a Sens fan. But today we're not talking about any particular thing to feel good about, because honestly, these kind of comments that we're talking about here, oh boy, they're pretty, let's just say they're pretty ambitious, why don't we? So, today we're talking about what Eugene Melnyk recently said, and if you know your hockey news, you know exactly what we're talking about over here. This was in an interview with Joe O'Connor from Financial Post. Eugene Melnyk is quoted on the record as to saying this: "I truly believe that the Ottawa Senators are a Stanley Cup winner within 4 years. It can happen anytime, but we're giving it that 4-year time frame." Now, these comments, for, very obvious reasons, they kind of blew up in the hockey world. Not because anybody was like, yeah, he's right, I agree. I can totally see the Senators winning a cup in the 4-year span that he's laying out for this team. But because people were like, oh my goodness, Eugene, what are you doing? Now, I'll say this first and foremost here. Are the Ottawa Senators on the right path? I'm going to absolutely say 100% yes, this team is doing some pretty good things. The acquisitions of Tim Stutzle and Jake Sanderson at the 2020 NHL draft, pretty good guys. You have yourselves the Shane Pinto you drafted last year, who is actually doing pretty well, especially compared to what other people had in terms of expectations for that prospect. You still have a very good stacked D core for the future. You got Thomas Chabot, you got Erik Brannstrom, you got Jacob Bernard-Docker, you have yourselves that Lassi Thomson, not to mention the Jake Sanderson that you got as well. There certainly are some pieces for this team moving forward, and what you did over the offseason with free agency and with trades was you addressed other parts of your team. You guys need more scoring up front? Hey, you got Dadonov. You guys need a goaltender? Hey, you got Matt Murray. This team, in my opinion, is not going to be a team that finishes second last in the entire NHL like they were this most previous season. But do you think 4 years is enough to say, yeah, we're going to win a cup by 4 years out? I'm as big of an Ottawa Senators believer as the next guy, but my gosh, that is very, very ambitious. And, I don't want to fault anybody for being super optimistic in the team that they own, but at the same time, you kind of have to have a level of probably just realism to this idea, I guess. Because what's going to happen in 4 years? Tim Stutzle is going to be 22. You have Brady Tkachuk, who was drafted in 2018. He's going to be 24. And with the rumors going out that he's probably going to be the team's next captain, I don't know if Brady Tkachuk is ready to captain a team to a Stanley Cup at the age of 24. We've seen guys do it before. We've seen Sidney Crosby. He won a cup when he was pretty young. We saw some other guys win Stanley Cups as young captains. But, I don't see Brady Tkachuk in that realm, man. I'm sorry. I love Brady Tkachuk as a player. He's a very interesting one. Very interesting play style. Very interesting ability to finish and produce. But I'm not sure I'd lump him in the same group of guys like Sidney Crosby, who are able to captain their team to championships by the time their early 20s are over. So I'm not really too sure on the whole idea here on whether or not the Senators are going to be a cup winner in 4 years. And the way that he phrased it too, he says that it can happen any time within that 4-year span. That insinuates that there's a small belief, maybe small, maybe 25%. 4 years divided up 1 over 4, 25%. There's a 25% chance that he actually believes that this team can win a cup next year. And I'm sorry, man. It's difficult to find teams who are just so incredibly poor down there in the standings, immediately bounce back up and win a cup within a calendar year. And I know I probably shouldn't be saying that because, we saw the St. Louis Blues. They were last in the league during Christmas time of 2018, and then they came back and they won the Stanley Cup. But that was off of a miracle performance. That was a team that was already kind of underperforming anyway. That was a team that a lot of people expected to be somewhat good. But for the Sens, they're in a different boat. This isn't a team that people are expecting to be good. This is just a young team, a youthful team, a team that has some growing to do. But I think a lot of people were kind of in the ballpark of saying things like, the best days of this Sens team are ahead. They're not immediately ahead, but they're going to be further down ahead when guys like Brady Tkachuk are 27 years old, when Tim Stutzle is 25, when Jake Sanderson is on the team full-time as a 30-minute defender, playing alongside of a Lassi Thomson who can get some goals, playing behind a Jacob Bernard-Docker and a Thomas Chabot. My goodness. Not to mention that Erik Brannstrom you still have as well. This Ottawa Senators team does have a future. But I don't know if I'd say 4 years. 4 years is very short. And unless you're in a position where Eugene Melnyk decides to just go, you know what, screw it. Let's start spending our money now, guys. Taylor Hall, Mike Hoffman. We can get that Dadonov, who's already on our team, and put him alongside of some very good free agents. How about that? This is a team that I honestly can see doing some very interesting decisions if they wanted to go forward and making the playoffs and winning a cup soon. But just the pattern of stuff we have seen Eugene Melnyk do over the past few years, this guy's not going to go out there and start paying guys immediately just because they're into a position where they can start to win. He refused to pay the majority of his high-earning, very capable players, and as a result, that's kind of why they entered this rebuild. And I don't want to say that it's impossible for that philosophy to change down the line. It's just, we've been so used to Melnyk not giving out money to guys who kind of deserve it and just saving it up for the young guys, that who knows when that time is going to come when they take that next step. Because I think if there's going to be a time where they start doing it, we're going to know. And just based off of how I've been seeing this team make their moves, make their acquisitions, I don't think they're doing that just yet. I get getting yourself that Austin Watson, hey, that's a move that helps you out. Same with that Dadonov, not to mention Gudbranson, not to mention Matt Murray, but if they wanted to go all in, they still have room to do more. And whether or not that happens this offseason via some trades or whatever, they take on some more salary to get some good players, we'll see. We will see. Because at the end of the day, this team was still second last in the entire NHL in 2019-20. And if that whole Canadian division thing that we spoke about in yesterday's video comes to fruition, we will be seeing ourselves a very interesting time with how the Ottawa Senators are going to be able to proceed forward. Do you think this Senators team is capable of winning the majority of their games against Toronto, Montreal, or Winnipeg? I'm not sure, to be honest. And I get that yesterday when we made our video, we didn't talk about Dadonov because that signing didn't happen when I recorded that video. So by the time it was up, everybody was like, hey, you forgot about that Dadonov guy. Doesn't that change your ranking? Because I saw everybody in the comments. Everybody was saying things like, yeah, Ottawa's last. And that's kind of what I said as well. So who really knows how the whole public perception is going to change with the Ottawa Senators, especially as they head into this next upcoming season. But having a Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stutzle pairing on the first line definitely sounds pretty good to me, if you ask myself. And going forward into the future with guys like Norris, Brown, Formenton, Roby Järventie, who's a point per game in the league right now, you have yourselves a legitimately good prospect pool. But still, 4 years? That's a short timeline, man. I think 4 years from now, we're still going to be able to see the Tampa Bay Lightning doing their thing. 4 years from now, we'll still see... Okay, I don't know if we'll see Boston. We kind of made a video earlier about how Boston was kind of in trouble. I don't really know how that's going to go. But 4 years, for a rebuilding team, 4 years may seem like a lot, but... I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm not an NHL GM, nor am I an NHL team owner, so I guess who am I to be talking about somebody's own individual opinion? But talk to me in the comments section below what you thought about Eugene Melnyk's statements. Do you believe the Ottawa Senators are going to win a cup in the next 4 years? That's either next year, in 2 years, 3, or 4. Are the Sens a cup champion? Because when you lay it out like that, I don't really know. So tell me in the comments what you think. Is it good enough for guys like Stutzle and Tkachuk and Sanderson to carry this team into the promised land? Or are they still a few more off seasons, a few more acquisitions, a few more draft picks, and a few more years away from achieving that mark? Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video. And bye.